Welcome back to the chemical kinetics. We were discussing about the order of reaction. Order of reaction. Order of reaction, as I have explained in the previous class, it is the number of molecules, or it is the sum of the powers of the concentration terms. Sum of the powers of concentration terms in an experimentally determined rate equation. Experimentally determined rate equation. Suppose I have a reaction, n molecules of A plus m molecules of B, giving rise to some products. For this reaction, if you write the velocity expression dx by dt is equal to K into concentration of A to the power A, concentration of B to the power B. Remember, here we have written n and m. But in the rate equation, I am writing A to the power A, B to the power B. This is based on the experimental determinations. If you write A to the power n and B to the power m, it is according to Guldberg and Bose law, that is law of mass action. But if you write dx by dt is equal to K, A to the power A into B to the power B, this is experimentally determined rate equation. Experimentally determined rate equation. So in this experimentally determined rate equation, if you take the sum of this small a and b, that is order of the reaction will be A plus B. So sum of the powers of concentration terms in an experimentally determined rate equation. That is called the order of the reaction. Now if you take this order of the reaction A plus B, since it is determined from the experimental rate equation, this order may be either a whole number with positive or negative sign. Sometimes it comes out to be negative also. We have so many examples for that negative order reactions also. Then it may be a fraction. It may be a fraction like half, 3/4, okay, 2 by 5, something like that. Anyhow, it is the sum of the powers of the concentration terms in an experimentally determined rate equation. Sometimes it may be 0 also. So since it is determined from the experimentally determined rate equation, we can have any of these values. But if you consider the differences between the molecularity and order, molecularity must be a whole number, but order may be either whole number with positive or negative sign, or it may be fraction, or it may be 0. Molecularity is determined from the balanced chemical equation, while order is calculated from experimentally determined rate equation. It means molecularity is only a theoretical value, but order is an experimental value. Molecularity is applicable for individual steps, but order is applicable only for the slowest step. Now let us reconsider the example what we have seen in the previous video. HBr plus O2 giving rise to H2O plus Br2. As I explained here, it is 4HBr giving rise to 2H2O plus 2Br2. But since the molecularity is overall in the balanced equation is 5, such reactions are less possible. They take place in the various steps. So such a step written for every such changes is called as the mechanism. So we write the mechanism HBr plus O2 giving rise to HOOBr. HOOBr plus HBr will give rise to two molecules of HOBr. HOBr plus one more molecule of HBr gives rise to H2O plus Br. As I told you in the previous video, HBr plus O2 giving rise to HOBr, here two molecules are involved, therefore molecularity is equal to 2 for first step. In the second step also the molecularity is found to be 2. In the third step also the molecularity is found to be 2. As I told you earlier, don't tell that it is molecularity 6. It is molecularity 2 for each individual step. Assume that the first step is the slowest step. The remaining two steps will be fast, and this is also fast. Since the slowest step will determine the overall rate of the reaction. So we have to determine the order of the reaction only for the slowest step. So for such a reaction, order is equal to 2. So it depends on the slowest step, which is actually called as the rate determining step. So this slowest step is also named as the RDS, rate determining step. So such a mechanism will have different molecularities and orders. For molecularity, we have to go for each step. But for the slowest step, if you apply the order, it is applicable for the overall reaction. So we can write the differences between the molecularity and order. So let me write the differences between the order and molecularity. Consider this molecularity and order. Molecularity is always a whole number, but order of the reaction may be either whole number or fraction or zero. We have a variety of examples with zero order reactions. Then second one is molecularity is determined from balanced chemical equation. Balance the chemical equation for the reaction. But order is calculated from experimentally determined rate equation. Experimentally determined rate equation. Then the third difference between the order and molecularity is molecularity is applicable for or is calculated for each individual step. But order is calculated for overall reaction. Now you remember one more thing. Once you calculate the molecularity for individual step, it cannot be applied for the overall reaction. That's why it is applicable for only individual steps, while order is applicable for the overall reaction. So it is not applicable for overall reaction. It is applicable for overall reaction. Applicable for overall reaction. And it is calculated from the slowest step. That is the difference between molecularity and order. Molecularity is always a whole number, because in the balanced chemical equation we don't write the fractions. But since order is determined from experimentally determined rate equation, it is either whole number or a fraction, or it may be 0. Determined from balanced chemical equation for the reaction, while it is calculated from the experimentally determined rate equation. If you want, you can write one more point. It is theoretical value, it is experimental value. This is molecularity calculated from each individual step. It is determined for each individual step, but it is for the overall reaction. So not applicable for the overall reaction, it is applicable for the overall reaction. So it is applicable and calculated from the slowest step. Okay. The next one. Let us consider the order of the reaction with suitable examples. Okay. First, let us take some reactions of zero order. When you say zero order reaction, as the name itself indicates, the velocity expression dx by dt is equal to k into concentration of A to the power 0. That means when this anything to the power 0 is always a constant, is always 1. That's why we write this as dx by dt is equal to k, a constant. So such a reaction in which the velocity of the reaction does not depend on the concentration of the reactant is called a zero order reaction. Now let us see some examples for the zero order reaction. In case of the zero order reaction, suppose you consider this dissociation of hydrogen iodide giving rise to H2 plus I2. If you carry out the reaction in absence of any catalyst, it is actually second order or second bimolecular reaction. But when you carry out this reaction on the surface of the gold, it follows a zero order mechanism. It means on the surface of the gold, when you carry out the dissociation of hydrogen iodide to give hydrogen and iodine, it does not depend on the concentration of hydrogen iodide. The second one is N2 plus 3H2 giving rise to 2NH3. Actually, it is not a tetramolecular reaction because it involves certain mechanism. But when the reaction is carried out in presence of this molybdenum catalyst, this follows a zero order mechanism. Similarly, when you take this CH3COCS3, this is acetone. When you carry out the reaction with this iodine in presence of the platinum catalyst, it will also follow the zero order reaction. The product formed will be iodination of this acetone. So it is the product CH3COCH2I along with this HI. So this also follows a zero order mechanism. Overall, to say, when you consider a zero order reaction, dx by dt is equal to k into a to the power 0. Since concentration to the power 0 indicates 1, so velocity is a constant. It does not depend on the initial concentration or concentration of the reactant. Then coming to the second one, first order reactions. First order reaction. In case of the first order reaction, actually when you take this CH3COOCS3, this is methyl acetate. In the IUPAC system, we call it as methyl ethanoate. When this is treated with an acid like HCl in the aqueous medium, it will give rise to CH3. Actually, it reacts with water in presence of HCl to give rise to CH3COOH plus CH3OH. Methanol and acetic acid, ethanoic acid. This actually follows a first order mechanism. That means we can write the velocity dx by dt is equal to k into concentration of methyl acetate, CH3COOCS3. Here you have to remember one more point. When we consider this molecularity of the reaction, it is bimolecular reaction because molecularity is two. One is methyl acetate, the other one is water. But actually rate depends only on the concentration of this methyl acetate, because in presence of acid the solution is a very dilute acid. Since water concentration is not much changed, so it does not depend, velocity does not depend on the concentration of water. That's why it is a first order reaction. It is also named as the pseudo unimolecular reaction. In some of the textbooks it is written as pseudo unimolecular reaction, but it is not pseudo unimolecular, it is actually pseudo first order reaction. Pseudo first order reaction. It is because it is not actually following the first order. Because of the presence of the water in excess, it follows the pseudo first order reaction. We can call either as pseudo unimolecular or pseudo first order reaction. The second one is inversion of cane sugar. Inversion of cane sugar. Cane sugar is actually sucrose, C12H22O11. When you carry out the hydrolysis, again in presence of a mineral acid, we can get glucose, C6H12O6, another molecule C6H12O6, that is fructose. One is glucose, the other one is fructose. So such a reaction again does not depend on the concentration of water. So velocity depends, that is dx by dt is equal to K into concentration of this sucrose. So such a reaction is called as the inversion of cane sugar. Here it is named as inversion because the optical rotation of the sucrose is actually dextrorotatory, but the mixture of glucose and fructose is a levorotatory. There is a change in the rotation, optical rotation, that you might have studied in first year in the optical activity. Since optical rotation is dextro in case of the sucrose and changes to levo in case of the glucose and fructose, there is a change in the rotation or inversion. That's why it is called as the inversion of cane sugar. So there are so many such examples in which more than one molecules are involved in the reaction, but still they follow first order reaction. So this is about the examples for the first order reaction. So as far as this second year is concerned, second year PUC is concerned, or 12th standard syllabus is concerned, you are supposed to study the derivations of the velocity expressions for zero order and first order reactions. Okay. Now when we consider this zero order or first order reaction, you have to derive the expressions for the velocity constant of zero and first order reactions. Now let us take this first order reaction. First zero order reaction. We can write the general expression for the zero order reaction as dx by dt is equal to k into a to the power 0. Assume that there is a reaction giving rise to A, giving rise to some product. The examples I told you, dissociation of hydrogen iodide in presence of the gold surface. Similarly, ammonia formation in presence of the molybdenum. There is one more example, that is most of the photochemical reactions. Photochemical reactions. So any reaction that is taking place in presence of the sunlight, it follows that zero order mechanism. For example, when you take this H2 plus Cl2 in presence of sunlight to give rise to HCl, even though there is hydrogen and chlorine available, but still their velocity does not depend on the concentration of H2 and Cl2. So it is a photochemical reaction following the zero order mechanism. For zero order mechanism, for reactions we write dx by dt is equal to k into a to the power 0. Or in other words, we can write dx by dt is equal to k into 1, because a to the power 0 is equal to 1. Or in other words, we can write this as dx by dt, dx by k, or dx is equal to k into dt. if you integrate on both sides, integration of dx is equal to k dt, then we have this x is equal to kt plus c. Here this is actually called integrated equation. This c is actually called as the integration constant. Integration constant. To find out the integration constant, you have to go back to the initial state. When t is equal to 0, this x will be equal to 0. Assume that we start with a certain initial concentration A and x is the amount of reactant converted to product. So when t is equal to 0, there is no any reactant converted to product. That is, when t is equal to 0, x will be equal to 0. Substitute in this case, c will become 0. Therefore, for a zero order reaction, we can rewrite this equation as x is equal to kt. Therefore, k is equal to x by t. This is the rate expression for a zero order reaction. I told you in the previous one of the previous videos to write the unit for this k. There is a concentration term in the numerator and a time term in the denominator. Concentration is expressed in terms of mole per liter and time may be expressed in any unit like second, minute, etc. So per unit time. For example, we can write this as mole per liter per second. So this is the unit for the zero order reaction. For a zero order reaction, if any question has the unit mole per liter per second or per minute or per unit time, then you should remember that it is a zero order reaction. So some more informations regarding this zero order reaction with respect to the graph and half-life period, etc. we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.